Hi guys, welcome to another Overbite Gaming. I'm a little bit throaty today because, my fiance gave me a cold. So, stay single, stay safe. That's what I gotta say about that. And we are here to discuss Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I think it's Kena. I would say Kena or Kena, but it's pronounced in the game Kena for some reason. And this is a PC and PS5, I think maybe PS4 as well. Yes, PS4 as well, exclusive. And I decided about on the PS5 because, firstly, it's only a couple quid dearer on the console, which makes a lovely change from having to pay £70 for things on there. And it was kind of like the big reveal, wasn't it? As you remember when Tim Sweeney said, "Oh, look what we can do with all this streaming from the SSD on Kena," or I'm going to say it completely wrong in about 4 different ways throughout this review. So let's not dwell on that. So I figured we'll get it on the PS5 because it was this sort of grandstandy show off. Oh, look at this cavern that we're going through and shit sort of thing, and that tech demo they released. So I bought it, I played it, and now I'm reviewing it for you guys. So it's actually pretty cheap, to be fair. I mean, on PC it's like 32 quid. I think on PS5, you get the 5 and the 4 versions buying it digitally, it's like 34 quid. So it's significantly cheaper than sort of other games, I would say, first party games. Although it's not first party, it's licensed games for the system. Console exclusive. I'm sorry, I'm ill. Give me a break. I'm finding words hard today. So, yeah, you play Kena, or whatever they want to call her. And you're a spirit guide. So what you do is you find spirits that haven't moved on to the afterlife and basically help them out. And they tend to get, as they hang around, they tend to get grumpier and more violent. So there's lots of fighting and stuff like that, and some puzzle solving. And it's all done in a nice cartoony style. And I've seen a lot of people really go, "Oh my god, this game looks amazing." And it looks nice. It's a beautiful game. I'll go so far as to say that. But because it's so cartoony, it kind of shoots itself in the foot for me. Because when I look at a game, I'm expecting to look more and more realistic, and they've very much gone the other way and sort of having stylized cartoon graphics. So for me, it doesn't look as good as other games that do look more realistic. It's got some nice lighting effects and everything like that. It's no ugly game by any measure, but that's just my opinion on it. It's trying to describe it. It's kind of a platformy beat 'em up. It's not too punishing in either regard, really. I mean, you know me, I'm hopeless at platforming games. So doing this is okay. There's a few challenging moments that I've had in the platforming, but none that's ever made me sort of rage quit the game like other games that have had platforming that's perhaps not as forgiving. The storyline's fine. There's really nothing in the game that you're going to sit there and go, "Wow, that's the most innovative thing I've ever seen." You're going to be like, "Well, this is from that game I've played, and this is from that game I've played." You have little minions called Rot. I don't know why they're called Rot, because they're so cute, and Rot isn't a very nice word. It has a lot of connotations that you don't necessarily subscribe to cuteness. But you send them places and they can pick up things, and they're essential for destroying the corruption that's taken over the land, like in every other fantasy game ever. And what the Rot will do is they'll pick stuff up and you can tell them where to put it, sort of like Overlord. I think it's Overlord, those games, the little gremlin things. So there's not a whole bunch new in the game, but it's all done really well with a surprising amount of polish. This is the studio Ember Lab's first game. Now, that's not to say that the people that comprise the studio haven't made games before. I would suspect they have, given the ability they've shown in this. It's a very well polished game. Now, if I was to say pair it up against another action platformer that's exclusive to the PlayStation, and that would be Ratchet and Clank, the latest one, I would say it's nowhere near as good as Ratchet and Clank personally. I think Ratchet and Clank is a far better game, but Ratchet and Clank is also 70 quid. So, I mean, when you're looking at a price point of like 34 quid, I think it is, on PS5, PS4, you can't really, you have to take that into account. I mean, it's a fine game. It's a great game. I'm not sure I'm quite as on board as everybody else seems to be, because they can look like 9s and 10s and shit, and I'm just like, it's good. But it's not that good. Calm down, lads. It's very reminiscent of like sort of Pixar animations and stuff like that. As I said, it looks nice. There are loading times, despite what Sony would have told you. They're not very long at all. Occasionally you'll get a loading time, sometimes going from like cutscene to in-game gameplay, and it generally lasts like a second or two. It's no big deal, but there are cutscenes in it, loading screens in it, so don't think that the SSD in the PS5 is some form of magic. It's just a device that accesses data more quickly than a regular SSD, or I should say a SATA SSD, or a mechanical hard drive. It's just a fast drive. It's not magic. Don't be tricked by Sony's blatant going, oh well, our SSD can cure world hunger. It can't. It's just a fast M.2 drive, and that's about it really. But as I say, there's very few loading screens. They are quick when they're there, but they are there, so there's that. I enjoyed my time with this. I really did. I kept getting to the point where I was like, oh, I'm probably going to put this down now, and then I just found myself continuing to play it regardless of that. I don't know if that's a plus point, that I got to the point where I wasn't enjoying it so much and carried on anyway. I don't know whether that's just me being bloody minded, or the game had sucked me in by that point. It does move you along quite quickly. You're never like stuck in one area for an absurd length of time. I think I finished about 11 hours, something like that. Definitely a recommended game. Definitely a recommended game at this price point on PS5, because let's face it, you're getting a lot in the store that's just like cheapo indie games, and then you're getting the big boys that they want 70 quid for. So having something like this that's a great game and is priced like half that, it's great. That is a lovely sort of place to be. There should definitely be more games like this. I was actually quite surprised at how cheap it was, given that it was pushed quite heavily in the PS5 sort of demonstrations. I thought, well, this is going to be like AAA 70 quid, give us all your money because we've shown you some trailers nonsense. But it wasn't. As I say, it's like 34 quid. Can't really complain. Not after I spent 70 quid on Returnal, which isn't as good. And then but conversely, I've spent 70 quid on Ratchet and Clank, and that's better. So I suppose you pay your money, you take your choice, right? Anyway, so the footage captured is obviously off the PlayStation 5. I am using a new Ava Media device that I bought after my Elgato went the way of the dodo. And it's captured at 1080 60. It does have two modes in the game. You have fidelity and performance modes. Fidelity is 30 frames a second, 4K. And then you have performance mode, which is 60 frames, upscaled to 4K. Really, I don't know why anybody would ever pick fidelity modes in these things. I mean, 60 frames should be the most important thing. The difference between 1080 and 4K isn't as vast as the difference between 30 and 60 frames for a game, in my opinion. It's nice to have everything, but if you're going to sacrifice something, I'd recommend resolution in any circumstance. And in this, it does a fine job. I actually haven't played it on my 4K TV. I've just played it on my monitor that I've got, because I've got it sort of daisy chained through the capture device. So the fidelity on a 1440p display seems absolutely fine and virtually identical between the two. The frame rates, however, are not. So, as I say, go for the frame rate option. So the footage you're seeing is 1080-60 because of the limited settings on the capture device, basically. It'll do 4K, but it won't do 4K 60, it'll do 4K 30. So I'd rather have the 60 frames. So that is Kena, Bridge of Spirits. It's a good game. It's half the price of what you might expect to pay on a PS5, and I had fun with it. There's more to it than just a cartoony game. There's some darkness to it as well. There's a bit at the beginning when you've got these two kids and they turn out to be ghosts, and you're like, I didn't actually catch on at first. I just thought they were teleporting like some mystical forest creatures, but no, they were dead the whole time. That's revealed like fairly early on, so I'm not considering that a spoiler. And if you pay attention, unlike me, you would probably twig that quite a bit earlier than I did. So when it happened, I was kind of like, oh. I would be more upset if they weren't quite as annoying, to be fair. Anyway, guys, Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Have you played it? Let me know down below. Send me well wishes for my bloody throat, because I'm not going to get any from my fiance because she's already been through it. Right, anyway, guys, take it easy.